Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, thanks so much for spending some time with us here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We got Bruce Woodburn coming up here, the loan arranger, Crosscountry Mortgage. We're going to talk about new construction, financing, as well as the NAR settlement and lawsuit. A lot of buzz in the industry around that, so we're going to get Bruce Woodburn's take on that coming up here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Segment's brought to you by Satellite Phone Store, sat123.com/REQB. That stands for Real Estate Quarterback. If you don't have a satellite phone, you should get one. Of course, we are in an election year. Anything can happen. Sat123.com/REQB. Sat for satellite, 123.com/REQB. And they are a longtime friend of the Consumer Quarterback Show. A couple of hot listings here. We'd love to feature our real estate listings on air, and the strategy works. It helps us sell faster for more money, less headaches for our sellers. 64414 4th Palm Point, St. Pete Beach. This is a beautiful property, waterfront home. Bring your boat, bring your jet skis. We just did a $200,000 price improvement. This property is listed at $1.7 million now. 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2280 square feet. Stunning views of the Boca Ciega Bay on St. Pete Beach. Hurricane-rated windows, barrel tile roofs, spacious kitchen for entertaining, and it has that infinity edge pool look coming out of the living room. Beautiful property at 64414 4th Palm Point, St. Pete Beach, Florida. Another one of our hot real estate listings from the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. 232 Hardcastle Place in Valrico. This is a lovely townhome, entry-level, affordable home listed here in Tampa Bay. I think it's just above a couple $100,000. 232 Hardcastle Place, Valrico. 2 bedrooms, 2.5 bath, plus a bonus room. 1,560 square feet. Granite countertops, sliders, lanai with storage room. You have a laundry room located upstairs. Access to a beautiful community pool. 232 Hardcastle Place, Valrico. And you can see all of our real estate listings at PlatinumCoastalElite.com. Check out PlatinumCoastalElite.com. All right, going to the phone lines now. Bruce Woodburn, the loan arranger, back on the show. And welcome back, sir.
All right. How you doing, buddy?
Blessed and highly favored, my friend. Thank you. And yourself?
I'm doing fantastic, man. It's always good to be on your show. Thank you so much for allowing me to come on. But, there's a lot of things shaking up the industry right now. And I've got to tell you, I think we need to really address this because, one of the things that people are hearing on the news, and they always get it late. You and I have been talking about this for a long time, this NAR lawsuit that's going to change the commission structure for real estate agents. But I got to tell you, I've got my own perspective on this, and I want to share that so that the general public, whether you're a buyer or a seller, understand how that's going to impact you moving forward into the future. So we all heard that, for a seller has always built into the sales price of their home the commission to cover the listing agent and the buyer's agent, say 6%, and then 3% to each one, 3% to the listing, 3% to the buyer's agent, right?
Yep.
Pretty well standard operation. And we have had the best MLS in the entire globe. Other countries have tried to emulate it and couldn't do it. We've got the best. And then you got these attorneys that get involved that says, hey, we don't think the seller should be forced to paying the buyer's agent's commission. Well, they've never been forced to pay it. A listing could always negotiate what they wanted to pay, how much they wanted to pay, and it was up to the agent whether to accept or reject it. But now you've got these lawsuits, Brandon, that have come in and says, hey, the buyer's going to have to be responsible for their own commission to pay. So let's just put this in perspective. If you're a cash buyer, you can afford it. If you're putting 30% down, you can afford to pay your buyer's agent. But what are we going to do for the 20% and less buyer that's barely, like take a first-time home buyer or a veteran that's trying to get in the market? Do you think they can pay a 3% commission on top of their down payment, their closing costs?
Right.
They're not going to be able to do it. So the sellers are just going to end up reverting back to the way things were. Because if you've got a house to sell, your objective is to sell the house, right?
Yep.
And if you're a buyer, your objective is to buy a home. But if you can't buy a home because you don't have the cash to pay your realtor, then what do? You negotiate it into the transaction. And if I'm a seller, I'm just going to increase my price to the point where it'll still appraise, but I can afford to sell it. You know, Brandon, I had an agent just the other day, had a home listed, and he went and gave an update to the seller, and the seller says, well, hey, wait a minute, man. I heard that I don't have to pay a buyer agent's commission anymore. And he says, well, you don't, and you never did. However, we're struggling to get enough offers on your home right now. What do you think that's going to be like when we don't pay an agent and nobody wants to show your home?
Right.
They went, yeah, let's just keep it the same. That's how it's going to play out.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, the cooperation.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, exactly. It's the cooperation. I've been interviewed on other shows about this as well, and I think it's just a modern form of Marxism and adapting to the real estate industry. Hey, how can we attack an existing power structure, right? So that's essentially what they did. And it's greedy attorneys trying to cultivate a lawsuit where there shouldn't have been one. But hey, that's the American way, I guess. That's the litigious society we live in.
I suppose it is. So now, here's what I think. If you're a consumer and you're looking to buy or sell, now's the time more than ever that you need a real estate agent that is going to negotiate for you, because otherwise you're going to go right to the listing agent. Well, who's the listing agent represent? The seller. So you need a team like Brandon Rhymes and the MVP team at Keller Williams to be able to help you negotiate your transaction. And the fact of the matter is that the average consumer does not know how to properly select a real estate agent. They pick their wife's cousin or their best friend they went to school with, or their nephew who's a newly licensed agent. But what we ultimately want is a great negotiator, somebody that's going to fight for our money. And that's how you operate. That's what your buyer's agents do to help my consumers negotiate. So when I send you a pre-qualified buyer and they don't have the money to pay for a real estate commission, your team will go in there and negotiate that. And you're getting closing costs paid for my buyers too. So it's a win-win all the way around when you're picking the MVP Platinum team at Keller Williams to help you negotiate your next transaction.
Yeah, that's right.
And I couldn't say it better.
That's right. Bruce Woodburn on the Consumer Quarterback Show, the Loan Arranger, Crosscountry Mortgage, longtime friend of the Consumer Quarterback Show. He also has his own show over on 102.5 The Bone as well, and does a great job on the financing side. His team is awesome. They're going to communicate with you, keep you updated. And yeah, Bruce, it's a big difference. In any industry, there's good, better, and best. And when you think about negotiation, you want to have a negotiation expert, a strong negotiation expert. And that's the certification I have. I actually teach classes on negotiation, branding, teaching at GTAR as well, right here in Tampa Bay. New construction is another area of emphasis for our team. We are recently partnered with New Homes Legacy International, and we partnered up with the national director, Pauline Dent, and Lindsay is now the Florida director for area director for Florida for new home construction. I want to talk a little bit about new home construction. Thank you so much. And just what are you seeing out there on the new construction side?
Well, I'll tell you what, I work with a lot of builders throughout the state of Florida, production builders. I work with custom builders. I work with semi-custom home builders all over the state of Florida. If you want to connect with a great builder, first of all, it's always a good idea that you have a buyer's agent represent you. But then I'll connect you with a builder throughout the state of Florida. For instance, I'll give you an example. I've been working with a builder called Mardon Construction, and for all of our listeners down there in the Cape Coral, Punta Gorda, Lehigh Acres area, they've got 27 inventory homes in the low 300s. So great entry-level homes up to your middle-of-the-road homes, 3-bedroom and 4-bedroom, 2-bath homes. But here's what else they'll do. They'll build on your own lot, or you can find a lot and we'll build a home. And here's the market that I'm seeing. Right now, we have a lot of production builders out there, right? The Lennars, the D.R. Hortons, the Meritage. These are giant production builders, but they have strict homeowners associations. And what I'm finding, Brandon, is your average entrepreneur that may own a plumbing business or a landscaping business, you can't park your truck in the driveway. The HOAs won't let it.
Right.
And you're so close to the neighbor, you can't even put a jet ski in the side yard, right? It's not allowed. So we're finding a great deal of the population wants a home, but they don't want an HOA, and they might want more of a full-size piece of property or even some land, maybe 1, 3, 5 acres, 10 acres. So we've got a great construction loan to help people with FHA, VA, and conventional construction perms. So if you're interested in buying a home or building a home, now's the time to do it. Great products. You get what you want, and you can have enough room to stretch out so you're not scraping your knuckles on your neighbor's wall when you're walking through the side yard. And I'll tell you what, you want to call the Lone Ranger. I'm in all 50 states, one of the top producing lenders in the country. 1 in 44 mortgages in the United States is a Crosscountry Mortgage, and I'm right here in your backyard, and I work with Brandon and his team. You've got a winning team to help you negotiate your next transaction. You can reach me at 813-213-4009. Again, 813-213-4009 or WeBringYouHome.com. Anyone that needs a mortgage, I've got literally everything you need to help your clients, Brandon. Anything. Construction, renovation, reverse mortgages, I can't even begin to go through how many different products we have to help your people. And self-employed people. You know, it's tax season.
Yeah.
So all our self-employed people got to prepare their tax returns right now. And you know what they do? They're writing everything off. I've got special programs, 1099 programs, bank statement programs, self-employed programs just for you folks.
Yeah.
So you don't want to miss out.
I love it. Bruce Woodburn, the Lone Ranger, Cross-Country Mortgage on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Reach out to the show. He also gave out his number as well, consumerqb.com. You can submit an email. I got a clip I want to tee up here. This was an interesting. I pulled this off of an interview with Tucker Carlson. This is, I believe the gentleman's name was Weinstein. I want to play the quick clip here and then maybe talk about it.
Let's hear it.
Somehow put aside the obvious danger to their ability to earn and maybe to their lives of saying what needs to be said, then we greatly outnumber those we are pitted against. They are ferociously powerful, but I would also point out this interesting error. So I call the force that we're up against Goliath, just so I remember what the battle is. Goliath made a terrible mistake, and it made it most egregiously during COVID, which is it took all of the competent people, took all of the courageous, and it shoved them out of the institutions where they were hanging on. And it created, in so doing, the dream team. Created every player you could possibly want on your team to fight some historic battle against a terrible evil. All of those people are now at least somewhat awake. They've now been picked on by the same enemy. And yeah, all right, we're outgunned. It has a tremendous amount of power, but we've got all of the people who know how to think. So I hate to say it, or maybe I like to say it, but I don't think it's a slam dunk, but I like our odds.
Yeah, I think that was an interesting clip from Tucker. He had a great interview with this guy named Brett Weinstein. But yeah, he's, we can outwork, out-organize, out-pray them, and we're right, they're wrong. I think when you look at what they did when it comes time to voting, people aren't going to forget. They're not going to forget who locked them down, who
Well,
made
I'll
them
tell you
quit
what,
their
if they
jobs.
don't get it right this time, Brandon, we're in big trouble. They better get it right this time, because last time they got it dead wrong, and look what we did. We got inflation through the roof.
Yep.
We got higher interest rates, and it's not getting better. And I don't see interest rates dropping till at least the third quarter of this year, and I don't expect them to drop much. The Fed's not going to make any significant rate cuts anytime soon, or else we'll come back into inflation.
Yep, that's true. All right, Bruce, how do people connect with you one more time?
407 Excuse me, 813-213-4009, 813-213-4009, or webringyouhome.com. Thank you, Brandon. I love working with you. If you're looking to buy or sell real estate, call Brandon first.
Thank you so much, Bruce. Appreciate that. Great update from you. Appreciate it.
Hey, have a great day, man. Enjoy your weekend.
Hey, awesome, man. Thank you. All right, taking a quick break. We're going to come back. We got special guest Josh Valentine in the house, the world traveler. He's a holistic health coach, IG influencer. We're going to have a great conversation with him coming up here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. Please make sure to send him all of your real estate deals and subscribe to the Consumer Quarterback Show podcast on iTunes and Spotify, or check out our YouTube channel. Have a blessed day.